Hello everyone. This video is about Orwell's Animal Farm, his probably most famous story. It's a story which was published in the form of a fable. It's a very simple and actually short story, and many children, many students from even the middle school already know about the story because they probably read it or they read a simplified version of it. Why does it have the form of a fable? Well, Orwell simply wanted to make the story very clear, even for children to understand. And this is why animals are the protagonists in this story. As I said in the other video, there was a problem with the publication of this story, simply because in every character you read about in the story, there's a clear reference about real people in the real history of Russia. Let's analyze them one by one, and let's analyze the plot in general. Well, first of all, the story is about this farm, which is called Manor Farm. The owner is this man, Mr. Jones, who's really unkind to the animals. He's often drunk and often forgets to feed the animals. And so the animals start to rebel. They want to gain more power and actually gain some consideration from their owner. And Mr. Jones could be considered to the Tsar, the Russian Tsar, Nicholas II. So there's a group of pigs which organize the rebellion. The first one is an old boar, an old pig, who has the idea of setting up a revolution. His name is Old Major, and he's a visionary thinker. He has this idea of a utopian society in which animals can rule and live in peace all together. Old Major represents the inspiring principles of the Russian Revolution, the principles of Marxism, for example. So Old Major could be compared to the figure of Marx, or as the same as that of Lenin. So the people who inspired, who gave the ideals for the revolution. But shortly after, in the story, Old Major dies. And so there's a fight mainly between two pigs for the figure of the leader. The first one is Napoleon, which is the equivalent of Stalin. And Napoleon, just from the beginning, uses force to establish his rules. He's always followed by a group of dogs. These dogs are very aggressive and they attack anyone who tries to approach him. So he uses them as a way to defend himself, but also to grow fear among the other animals. Then the second pig who's fighting for the figure of the leader is Snowball, and that corresponds to the figure of Leon Trotsky. Snowball believes in the ideals of the revolution and always allies with the proletariat. He always allies with the weak classes. He has this idea of building a windmill which can help simply to relieve the animals' labor. The windmill can help with the labor and simply can help the animals to work less and enjoy their time more, and the products they have prepared more. Just from the beginning, Napoleon doesn't agree with the idea of the windmill, and actually finds a way to chase Snowball off the land. And then after that, Napoleon makes everybody think that Snowball was a villain, that his intentions were not in favor of the animals, and the animals have to thank him for chasing him away. And you know what happened to Trotsky. He was actually killed. And this is what probably happens to Snowball as well, even though it's not clear. We know that he was chased by the dogs, but we don't know what happens to him afterwards. Then we have other figures. For example, there's Boxer. Boxer is a horse that works really, really hard. Even though he's exhausted, he believes in everything the party says. He does everything they ask him for. When they ask him to work more, he works more. And he dies for this. He dies because he's exhausted. Boxer and the sheep as well, they both represent the workers who never complain and simply go on with the work, even working maybe harder and harder till they die. We have other animals. I'm just going to analyze the most important ones. The last one being Moses. Moses is a raven. And Moses is an example of the Russian propaganda. He is the one that is used to spread the messages by Napoleon, or, for example, to convince all the other animals that Snowball was a villain. So Moses used words to convince the animals who are ignorant about something that they should be considered as the truth, which is actually not the truth. But what are these main principles that the revolution has brought? The idea that was the one conceived by Old Major was the principle of animalism. Animalism had very precise rules, namely 7 rules. I will read them for you. The first rule is whatever goes upon 2 legs is an enemy. 2. Whatever goes upon 4 legs or has wings is a friend. Number 3. No animal shall wear clothes. And this is actually what happens at the end of the story. The pigs start wearing clothes. Number 4, no animal shall sleep in a bed, and they do it at the end of the story. Number 5, no animal shall drink alcohol, and they drink whiskey together with the humans. Number 6, no animal shall kill any other animal, and Snowball is probably killed. And number 7, the most important of them all animals are equal. One after the other, all these rules, which are written on a wall, are modified or, little by little, simply cancelled. Some animals remember that there used to be a rule which said that, but then they feel confused and they say, well, probably I remember wrongly. So what they see on the wall is the truth for them. They never discuss it, they never question it, they never ask themselves why they do remember other rules and the rules are not there anymore. And at the end of the story, there's only one rule written on the wall, which is number 7, but it has been modified. All animals are equal. That was the original one. But some animals are more equal than others. So Napoleon, together with the humans who have come back to Manor Farm, the pigs, together with the humans, have now established a new form of tyranny. So nothing has changed from the beginning of the story, in which you had the Tsar, Nicholas II, that was a tyrant for the Russian people. And after that, after a revolution, great ideals and principles, after that, nothing has changed. The population has gone back to totalitarianism. And ignorance is probably the real problem they have to face. They're not well informed and they believe in everything that propaganda has told them. And in the final scene of the book, which I suggest you to read, you will see some pigs all dressed up in human clothes, drinking whiskey and playing cards with Mr. Jones and some of his friends. So nothing has changed. Okay, I think this is it for Animal Farm, and thank you for watching.